It is about that time, Raptor fans. Really, the playoffs are beginning now for the Toronto Raptors as they are about to embark on a very, very difficult series in the Boston Celtics tomorrow afternoon. 1 o'clock tip-off, game 1 of round 2 of the NBA playoffs. And look, I'm going to straight up come out and say it. If anybody says that this game is going either 4 or 5 games either way, clearly they're just a delusional, biased fan. Realistic people will say this series is going 6 or 7. I personally think and hope to God the Raptors do come away with this series win. It reminds me a lot of Philly of last year. That it's going to be that back and forth type of feel. This is going to be a banger of a series, guys. Both teams are extremely good on the defensive end. Both teams have lots of weapons that can beat you offensively. This is going to be one heck of a series, and I am so excited to watch this and just enjoy this series for the Raptors and Celtics. Now, Kyle Lowry's health, it was the big question mark going into game 1. It's listed as questionable right now. I think he practiced today, if I'm not mistaken, but he is listed as questionable, a game-time decision for, 3 hours ago, listed as probable. So it looks like Lowry is going to be playing for the Raptors in game 1 tomorrow afternoon, which is huge news for the Raptors because they need him. And the reason I say that is because rebounding is such a big, important thing in the NBA, especially against a great team like the Celtics. Giving them extra opportunities absolutely kills you. And a guy like Kyle Lowry is an incredible guard that rebounds terrifically. Now, the Boston Celtics aren't necessarily a big team. So if you look at that and say, well, they're probably not a good rebounding team, they are a very good rebounding ball team. You know why? It's a collective effort, and they get the job done. They go out, they crash the glass, they get that board. They make it happen. The Raptors have to do that as well. They've been very good so far in the bubble without rebounding teams and kind of staying in and around other teams in the rebounding categories. Excuse me. Because giving a team like the Celtics in Jaylen Brown, Kemba Walker, Jason Tatum, giving those guys extra shots when you should come down to the board will kill you in this series. And I think this is going to be incredible because both teams are incredible defensively. And no team has that real prolific star. Tatum's great. Jaylen Brown's great. You know, and Kemba Walker's great. But if you look at the Raptors, I'd say they have more depth. But maybe if you're looking at top-notch talent, yeah, the Celtics might have the slight edge, but bench players gotta play. And the Raptors, in my opinion, have that depth over the Celtics. Yes, Marcus Smart's a scrappy guy, great off the bench. After him, who do you got? There's no Gordon Hayward. Whether he be starting or coming off the bench, I don't really know. But all I know is you look at them and Javonte Green, who else? There's Marcus Smart, Waters is one, Ojale, Tice, both Williams, Taco Fall, Cantor. I mean, but Cantor's probably going to start. So they really don't have that prolific guy off the bench. The Raptors, on the other hand, can run with guys like Powell and Ibaka coming off the bench. And you saw what they did in the last few games against Brooklyn. I understand them. You know, they're not the greatest team, Brooklyn, but you saw what they've put up all year long. You sprinkle in with Terrence Davis making some shots and Matt Thomas coming in and making big-time threes, as we've seen quite often. That could be the difference maker. The Raptors starting unit will get the job done. It's just a matter of who's going to step up each game. Whether it's going to be Fred being Fred VanVleet, whether it's Kyle Lowry having a big game like he's done all year long, but more specifically Game 6 of the NBA Finals to start off that last year. OG has the chance to be a prolific scorer if he makes his threes. And you know what he's going to give you defensively. And Pascal Siakam, there's no shot blocker inside, but the Celtics do crowd you very well. Again, like I said, they're a very good defensive team. So they'll make it tough on Siakam, but Pascal's got to know he has the size. So make it work. Right? And it's just going to be a really fun series because... And Marc Gasol is going to be an integral part as well. Because if he can make some shots and make Cantor guard him, opens up the lane, opens up the bucket, and all the guys, all the slashers that this team has, the Lowrys, the Siakams, the Van Vliets, and if Norman Powell's out there with them, it spreads the floor so much better when you know Gasol's making shots. So if this team can play like the team we know they can play like, what the heck was I saying there? If this team can play like the Toronto Raptors that we know and love, they can win this series. They just can't get away from their game. Look, Boston just swept Philly. I know they don't have Ben Simmons. They still had Embiid. They still had Tobias Harris. They still swept them. This Boston team is a very good basketball team. Do not count these guys out. Look, the Raptors are fantastic. They have so many different scores, so many different options to beat you in any given way. The Celtics have a great starting unit. You find a way to clamp down and contain that starting unit the best that you can, you will win this series. And for Celtic fans, oh, well, if we contain their starting unit, they'll be fine. Yeah, but then you'll have, because if you watched that Brooklyn game, Powell and Ibaka combined for 50. So if you want to focus all your attention on their starters, so be it. The other guys will beat you down. The Raptors have so many weapons to beat them on offense, and all of those guys who are great offensively are incredible defensively as well. It's going to be a fun series. It's going to be a scrappy series. That's going to be the interesting one. And the one thing I'm looking at for this series that the Raptors need to hone in on is turnovers. Again, kind of like the offensive boards category, right? You can't give them second opportunities. When you turn the ball over, especially if it's a live ball turnover, the Celtics will run it down your throat and they will kill you and start huge runs. You can't let that happen. And against Brooklyn, I understand the competition. The Raptors took care of the ball extremely well. Now, you are playing a much better defensive team, so you're not going to have that type of opportunities. They're not going to give up 150 points. Don't bank on it. They're not going to give up 100 bench points. Don't bank on it. If this team can play scrappy defense, as we saw all last year, all throughout the playoffs, as we saw this team kind of clamp down on all the teams in the playoffs last year. Yeah, well, you had Kawhi and Danny Green. I understand that. And then this year, the Raptors having the best defensive rating in the NBA. Or at least in the bubble. Let me go to the stats real quick here on the defensive side of the ball. The defensive rating was second in the NBA, probably Milwaukee number one. And look, this team, and you got to look at guys like Fred VanVleet, right? With his deflections leading the way in the NBA in deflections. The Raptors are second in the NBA in steals. You find a way to contain the basketball, turn them over, make your shots, and play hard defense, as they always do, you will win this series. But the compete level has to be there. And Raptor fans, we know it will be there because this team is a championship team. And they know how to win. The Celtics haven't been there yet. They've got to the Eastern Conference Finals against LeBron James and the Cavs, took them to 7, then lost. But that's the closest they've been. This team just last year, Kawhi and Danny, they're NBA champions. A lot of the guys on this roster are NBA champions. They know what it takes to win and to go all the way. All this team has to do is take a game-by-game professional mentality. Go out there, you get a win, don't get too hyped. You got to win the next one. The Celtics might get a little too trigger happy. They win game one and they'll be all over the place and they'll be fired up and whatnot. Raptors go out in game two and bring them back down to earth. This team has the capability of going all the way. I don't care what anybody says, the Raptors do, and everyone's going to sleep on this team, and that's fine because we're used to it. Raptor fans, you get past Boston, the sky's the limit. Yes, Milwaukee is an incredible ball team, but they haven't been playing the greatest here in the bubble. Yeah, they've been crushing Orlando over the last 4 games. I think they're beating them pretty good today, too. Doesn't matter. The Raptors can favor well against Milwaukee, and we'll get to that on a later date. You get to the NBA Finals, they've pretty much done a great job against the Lakers. Kawhi, look, you got to get to the finals first. The Raptors, like I said, this reminds me of a Philadelphia 76ers series of last year, where it was back and forth, Game 7 buzzer beater. That's what it took to win that series. I feel like this series is going to be like that. Any Celtic fans who are going to be on here, and I know there's going to be plenty of you guys. First off, welcome to the channel. Second of all, if you think you're going to sweep the Raptors or beat them in 5, you don't know basketball. Clearly, you're just a huge fan of your team and want to make us feel bad, but we know. Raptor fans are intelligent. We know that this Raptor team is going to go 6 or 7 games, and who knows? It might be it might be 6 in the 6 yet again. Who knows? I don't know. I'm excited to get this thing going. It's a 1 o'clock tip-off tomorrow afternoon. I can't wait to get it going. And I think we can all agree on one thing. Pascal Siakam has to be huge in this series. I mean, all these guys have to make impacts, but Pascal being your number 1 scoring option, he has to be that number 1 scoring option and be the best scorer on this team. And show it. And I don't mean dribble, ISO ball, take a 3. No. Pascal is so damn good when he gets in the paint. Body. Like I said, they're not the biggest team out there. You find a way. They're long, but they're not big. So Pascal, back these guys down, get in the paint, make your shots happen. He can do this. This team can do this. 1 game at a time. All right, so you know what, guys? That is going to do it for this one. You guys enjoyed the video, and you guys are jacked up for Game 1 of Round 2 of the NBA playoffs there tomorrow afternoon. Smack the like button to appreciate that. Hit the subscribe button if you guys have not already. Comment down below your thoughts on the video, your thoughts on the games, or no, I guess your thoughts on what to expect of the games. I don't know. I don't know where I was going there. And I want to hear your guys' take. What do you expect this series to go, and who's your winner? All right, I really want to hear your guys' realistic takes of what you think is going to happen here in round 2 against the Boston Celtics. I'm saying Raps in 7. I think it's going to go all the way to 7. And I think the Raptors, with that championship mentality, are going to come away with the series win. Now, I'm just making predictions. I have no clue what's going to happen. What are your predictions, guys? Let me know in the comments below. Also, any other takes that you think that need to happen in this series for the Raptors to come away with a series win that I did not mention, let me know in the comments below. Twitter is down below for myself as well. Follow up, send me a DM, do all that great stuff. Also, the Instagram link is down in the description, so follow up there if you've not done so already. And I will talk to you guys, Jays edition, later tonight as Taijuan Walker makes his Blue Jays debut. All right, and it's going to be an exciting one. At Salem Field against the Baltimore Orioles, Alex Cobb against Taijuan Walker. Game 2 of the 4-game set against the Baltimore Orioles. Want to get some more breathing room between the Jays and O's. 6:37 first pitch there at Salem Field. As for our Raptors, here we go. Down in the bubble, 1 o'clock tip-off tomorrow afternoon. Raps, Celtics. Game 1 of round 2 of the NBA playoffs. I hope you guys know this video. I thank you guys so much for listening and watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. We'll talk to you guys then.